Hey. Welcome everybody. Starting a little late, a little behind, but today's guest is going to be Doubledown Cosmetics, and the owners are Marvin and Kristen Speller. Um, Great products, definitely something you want to listen to, hear, and we can possibly um, get you some information. But it's Cape Verdean owned business, and we're going to get our guest on in a few minutes, actually a few seconds. So, all right, stay tuned.
Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Okay, I'm sorry I'm a little late. Had some things to do. So,
Sure. I understand. Representing the Boston Celtics with your hat, so I'm not even mad.
I I actually what I'm going to do is create the title page and everything. I'm going to create it so it looks nice on the podcast, on Facebook and everything. So,
Yeah, I'd love to share.
Okay, so we're going to definitely do our thing. All right. Doubledown Cosmetics. Nice name. I love it.
Yeah.
Who came up with that name? What that?
Actually, so the funny story is, I have to be honest because a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, girl, you created this brand." I'm like, my husband had to push me. It was at a time when I was in a very creative space, but sort of focusing on other things. And I think sometimes you get stagnant. And so we started talking, and we were in our offices, and we said, we have to come up with a name for our company. And so we talked about it, and then we sat down. We turned to each other, and at the same time, we said double down. I said, that's it. I mean, Charlie, it was so wild because what are the chances?
Yeah.
And we felt as though when you think about being a brand and you think about how you want to move forward, we double down and we get it done. And there's two of us, and it represents what we do as a mission-led brand, which is the one-on-one equals two model, which is victim to survivor in the violence community. So it's quite applicable, and it suits us quite well.
Good. I and another plus is that it's Cape Verdean owned. I see you pushing that.
Yes.
So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just let you go ahead and tell your stories, tell your spiel. If you want to say anything about the products, please do. This is the Really Charlie podcast, and we're going to really talk about things the way you want to talk about it. So,
awesome. Well, I'm today.
Oh, nice. I'm definitely going to have to get one of those.
Yeah, my best friend, she does a lot of graphics for our company, and she always sends us merch and things like that. So she made our masks and sweatshirts and T-shirts. So we're working on some things right now. So thank you very much.
Okay.
So one of the reasons why I wanted to start my own cosmetics brand, number one, it was a dream of mine for many, many years. I would always go shopping with my mother at Sephora or MAC Makeup. And back then, there were limited brands. So you would get like Estee Lauder, MAC Makeup, Smashbox. If you went into a private retailer, whatever their private owned label makeup was, like the Sephora brand or NARS and things like that. And I kept seeing the same things over and over again, but it was really exciting because you were seeing color, and I live in a world of color. But when we started to embark on our wellness journey, which began with my husband coaching me to a 100-pound weight loss from 2012 to 2014, when I started to realize that perhaps we need to go in a different direction with makeup. I need to start changing things out because in 2009 and 2010, I had a physician who thought that my neurological trauma from domestic violence could potentially be linked to some of the preservatives in makeup. We didn't know a lot back then, but he sent me for a paraben study and it came back inconclusive, but it was enough for me to get my wheels going. And so when we entered into the wellness space, we said it has to be done well. And we wanted to eliminate some of the preservatives that were in traditional makeup. And so in this space, it's called a clean beauty space. And so there's sort of this realm of clean beauty and traditional, and it's very divided because for many different reasons. In the clean beauty space, we are not, as Black people, represented with our melanated skin tones, from the lightest hues to the deepest hues. And that was an issue for me because I had worked with other brands. I had done sponsorships with other clean beauty brands. And when I reached out to some of the brands and I told them that I couldn't find my shade in foundation, in concealer, BB creams, it was sort of a mute. It was sort of silence. It was like, well, can you try and make it work? Well, would you call a white person to try and make it work? And so there were all of these sort of obstacles. And I said, you know what? There is a problem here and we need to create a solution. And within that, we did that with our highlighters. We started with our lip balms. And in complexion products, we went to highlighters because in the clean beauty space, I love to glow. As you can see, I have the down glow. And there wasn't anything for my skin tone. There wasn't anything for our daughter's skin tone and then my cousins. And so I was on a mission, and it was really important to me to make sure, especially in my culture, that all of us beautiful women and men who do wear makeup were and are represented.
Okay. Does it, I'm pretty sure when you're performing as a musician, definitely makeup is key, is important. So, how to work out for you with your products and actually singing on stage?
Well, the interesting thing is that, and I have to give a shout out to my makeup artist, Erica Bazzarini Perez. She's been my makeup artist for 9 years, and she has to mix foundation every single time. And so when we started our brand, it was so awesome when we used our own makeup and I could represent. And I really felt like my mantra, which is the Phoenix Rising Up, because you're wearing something that you created, that you believe in, that represents you. And when you manifest those type of dreams and goals and you see it come to fruition, you understand about being a visionary, how it plays on your face. And it's so important. And it made me feel like I was really representing my ancestors. My parents are both deceased. Today's my dad's would have been 86th birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Mr. Perry.
Yes, yes. And it made me feel like if my mother was here, she would be like, wow, Punk, you really did it. And for me, that is everything being Cape Verdean.
Yeah. And so originally you were from Taunton, Massachusetts.
From Taunton, Massachusetts.
Okay. And then your life began on a journey out to LA in Los Angeles, California.
Almost 17 years ago, I drove from Taunton to Los Angeles, 3,000 miles to begin this long, arduous, trepid, fantastic, challenging, very tedious journey that led me to my music career. Thanks to my cousin Tiny Tavares, who said, Kristen, Hollywood's going to come knocking on your door and you need to stay and you need to pursue it. Because I wrote a song 2 weeks after my father died called Sunny September Rain. And I felt as though I had some legs with that, but I didn't know, but I was a poet and a writer. And I took it to him and he thought it was so fantastic. And he never wants to take the credit. I'm always letting him know that I thank him, but truly I wouldn't be here without him.
Cool. Wow. Good story. Definitely worthy of a book. And eventually you should start typing and getting things together.
It's coming.
And start writing your book because
It's coming.
It's definitely could be and will be inspirational. So you need to get that story out there.
Yes. I've been working on that.
Okay. We got a few people saying good evening and welcome to you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
So we so I one of the pictures I took from your company was the lip gloss in the mouth.
Yeah.
And I started writing about it. I didn't finish it, so I didn't give it to you. So
Oh, I can't wait. Thank you.
yeah.
This is the Renegade.
Now, how if you can think of a number, total products do you have? You know, from
We have, I think 28.
Wow. Okay.
Or
All right.
maybe more than that. You know, what's so interesting is with the numbers, because this year we had, in 2020, we had 19 releases alone. And so focused on that number, because when we're in meetings, we're always asked about 2020. So I sort of forget like the other 2 years, but yeah, we have a lot of products. We're known as a high color pigment performing brand with skincare extension, and we're in the multidisciplinary category.
Okay. Well, my lip gloss is baby oil or chapstick. So, how do you help out the guys?
Right here. Guys got to order the present. And let me tell you, this lip balm is organic. It's 95% organic. It's non-GMO. This one is vegan and it's cruelty-free. We wanted our folks to have access. This is only $5.99. And you're going to get non-GMO, cruelty-free, vegan, organic, sustainable ingredients made right here in the USA.
Okay. And so they order that through a website?
Through DoubledownCosmetics.com. We do straight D2C, which is direct to consumer.
I'm going to try to create a banner for everyone to see. And
that's awesome.
I'll get that going. I don't know. I actually I seen that you had you have your kind of premises that to help out with domestic violence with your products. Can you explain that to us?
Sure. So let's see, we're in 2020. Wow. So 9 years ago, and just to give everybody a history, I am a 12-year survivor of domestic violence. I escaped my ex-husband and I lived in hiding for 4 years. In my 4th year of hiding, my exquisite and incredible husband, Marvin, saved my life, and he moved me out of hiding. And he got me situated in my first apartment. And I was still in the California at Home program, but Marvin protected me through and through. And I escaped with my puppy Lucky, who's in puppy heaven now.
Oh.
And, yeah, that was my girl, Lucky Bums, we used to call her. That was my girl. And we, when I was in therapy for 3 years. And what I noticed was a lot of women were so downtrodden. And the one thing that my mother always used to tell me is that I always had a lot of self-love, no matter what I was going through, I always loved myself first. Yeah. And I've never been self-depreciating or I've never talked down to myself. I've never called myself fat and ugly growing up, like ever in my life. And I'm 46 years old. And I think that when I went through domestic violence, a lot of folks, the perception was that, oh, women of domestic violence have low self-esteem. And the thing about self-esteem is that self-esteem is not high or low. And this is something that my late mother used to talk about, because my mother was a therapist. And when
Mhm.
I went to therapy, in our outreach programs, we would talk about self-esteem being on a scale. How do you feel today? And that's how we would measure self-esteem. But so many folks, go high to low, and it's like, how do you feel today? Are you doing well today? Is your immunity high? Are you exercising? Are you giving yourself self-love? And within that modicum, we found that a lot of women felt so low. And I said, you know what? I want to do a program that makes women feel great. And it was Marvin's idea to say, you know what, honey, let's start something in the community. He said it in my kitchen. And I said, what a great idea. So it was his idea to start our Love Is Foundation. I wrote a song, Love Is. So the two conjoined together. And it was really an interesting process. And then we started the Glam Up program. The Glam Up program was a program that we started in our home, and we allowed strangers to come in our home. And I remember my mother saying, Punk, you're going to allow strangers in your home? And I
Mhm.
said, I'm not concerned about the strangers. I'm concerned that the need is not being met in our community. And so we had Glam Up in our home. Marvin cooked wheat-free meals. We did hair and makeup. I reached out to companies. They donated a plethora of makeup. We gave them goodie bags. And in 2019, we were able to extend that into the community, into the domestic violence transitional community. Within that community, my husband Marvin coaches women and men to weight loss, because weight loss is a significant issue in our community, especially when you're under neurological trauma, when you're dealing with not being able to function analytically when so much is happening. And so my husband has been such a force in this community. If anybody's dealing with domestic violence or needs weight loss, please reach out to him, because he's getting our community healthy. In our community, we're dealing with a 42% of Black women and about 21% of brown women. So the statistics are higher in our communities of color.
Okay.
And we feel really fortunate that now with our company, that we're able to have our own products with people that donate, and we're able to give Glam Out bags to these organizations, which makes us feel so happy that these women and men will have something that will help them feel great. We're actually getting ready to go next week to Rainbow Services, which is our charity of 2020. That's where we donated our proceeds. So when you buy a Doubledown Cosmetics program, we donate a portion of the proceeds to a community organization. And last year we chose Rainbow Services because our dear friend, Dr. Beth Bonzo, who was a former trustee at Rainbow Services, was murdered by domestic violence.
Wow. And that was going to be one of my questions: is how do you choose a foundation or organization? And I'm glad that it's going to it it's going to something other than a state organization, only because they're financially fit, or some of the other organizations which may be a better or maybe a lower key organization for someone to go to and feel comfortable. When we go to different state organizations, there may be a little clutter that makes people uncomfortable and may not come back a second time. So
Yes, that's
good.
very true. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Um, so I see that I have to get some merchandise from you. Um,
Yes.
Put some gear on while I'm doing my podcast.
We'd love it.
The definitely got to get some chapstick, so I will be doing that this weekend.
Thank you.
Um,
I appreciate it.
so, and the great thing about this is that with you being in place and your husband being in place, you guys are able to kind of conquer quite a few things just by you two being there. So, and that's a plus, a huge plus.
Huge plus.
So when someone is kind of referring you in your companies, that's one thing that you kind of have everything all interwoven. You got an A team working together.
Yes.
And definitely life experience. Life experience is key.
Key.
How could you speak to someone that's going through something when you don't have that life experience, and you guys have it?
Yes, we do.
So I I got, it looks like we got a few parts to go with. This is part one, and I see that, your your other groups that we have to get into later on. So we're going to set some plans with that. But the other thing is also, we're going to get away from the cosmetics right now. We're going to talk music.
Okay.
All right. So give me a little bio. I mean, I know your bio, but our listeners don't. Our viewers today don't. So give us a little bio. And actually, you can go as further back as you probably get it from your dad. So you can even talk about him also.
Yeah, my father, and I think, I'm not sure how many people know, but do you remember in 1995 when the Smithsonian Museum like inducted 100 Cape Verdean musicians? It was like a tribute to Cape Verdean musicians. My father was part of that 100.
Wow.
So remarkable. And my father was really ill at the time, and I remember thinking that, like, this is the Smithsonian. These are Cape Verdean musicians. Like, this is a big deal.
Yes.
And, my father was a prodigy of guitar, and had Leo Perry and the Statesmen, Leo Perry and the Villains with my uncles and my cousins. And we grew up in that. And I grew up playing the trombone. I started in the 5th grade. I finished in the 9th grade. I was a cheerleader for a very long time. I started when I was 5 years old, and I finished when I was in college with my college dance team at 22. So 17 years is a very long time. And so within that, I've always, had to, do these routines to a lot of music. We were state champions for Taunton High School. I went to nationals for cheerleading. So there was always some kind of music component in my life, whether it's from my family or my extracurricular activities and things like that. And then I was in drama club and theater when I was in high school. And so when I started writing, and I went to college, my college degrees are in history and psychology and religion. I had a phenomenal professor at Emmanuel College. I got to thank her last year when Marvin and I went to visit my alma mater, which is Emmanuel College in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And she was my English professor, and I never got A's in that class. It was always B's and a B plus. And I remember driving home to Taunton. I was like, Mom, I'm going to get it. Like, I'm going to get it because I need to get it. And, my mother just kept saying, Punk, keep working hard, keep going to her extra hours, because she would always say, if you have any questions, come to extra hours. I took all the extra hours because I knew I could do it. And she trained me in a way that really helped my methods in songwriting. And last year I told her, I said, listen, I know that I've become a Grammy contender. I know that I'm gifted, and it's one thing to be gifted, but you have to be able to have continuity. You have to be able to use that continuity to have cohesiveness when you're writing.
Exactly.
And so I thanked her because within that, my first album was about my freedom with domestic violence. And my first album is called Misguided Dignity. It's on iTunes. And I became a Grammy contender with my first album, and we were shocked. I had no idea how to do the Grammys. I had no idea how to get into the Recording Academy. And so I Googled it and I called. Marvin said, let's Google it.
Mm-hmm.
And I called, and they were like, you have to have all these credentials. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to submit and let's see if I can make it. And when we found out that I was a Grammy contender, we applied for 5 categories. We applied for Song of the Year,
Yep.
New Artist, Best Rock Song, Best Instrumental Arrangement with Vocal, and Best Pop Vocal Performance. I got 4 out of the 5. And the only one we didn't get was Song of the Year, but I got Best New Artist. I got Best Rock Song for Writing Bruised, which was so huge. And the Taunton Daily Gazette did a huge article on me. My mother was super proud. And we were like, is this really happening? Like, I'm from Taunton, Massachusetts. Like, I'm on the Grammy ballot. I mean, and at the time there were 20,000 performing artists. And from what we were told, they picked the top 200 to be on the ballot. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So we went to the Grammy nominations concert. We did the red carpet. And I was like, I can't believe it. Because listen, awards are subjective, but when you're able to create that vision and believe in yourself and believe in the storytelling of the artistry, you're able to project what you want to see in the future, which led to Phoenix Rising Up, which my husband really was sort of the impetus for it, because I didn't want to stay in the victim mentality. I've never really thought of myself as a victim, but when you come out with an album about domestic violence, you can be marketed in a plethora of different ways. And within that, I wanted to change the trajectory, which my husband helped me with. And so in 2010, I started writing on Facebook, Phoenix Rising Up. That's all I would write as the status. And I knew that if I kept writing that, I would eventually believe it and I would eventually become it.
Yes.
And when I worked through everything and I became it, Marvin chose it as the first song off of an album that we were going to release, but my mother ended up being sick, so we didn't release that album. And Marvin chose the song, and I went to him and I said, I don't know if it should be the first release off of this album. I want to go with something else. And he said, honey, do you trust me? I said, well, emphatically, of course. And he said, then we're going to release Phoenix because he's my manager.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to start to cry. When I started producing Phoenix, I play an instrument called the dulcimer. It changed everything. The inflections, the tones, the intonation, all of it. It changed my life.
Yeah.
It became my mantra. And with Phoenix, we first released it in 2013, and that was under my ex-married name. And once we got married in 2014, I wanted to change everything over. And I kept going back to Phoenix. I kept saying, I think it has legs. I think we need to re-release it under my new name and have an entirely different vision. And I went with that. And we re-released it in 2016. I became a Grammy contender for Best Rock Song, which is the category that we applied for. And then I got a plethora of indie nominations, and I became a nominee for the Global Peace Song Awards. And then I ended up winning Best Rock Pop Song for the Global Peace Song Awards.
Yeah.
And I just want to give a shout out to Steve Robertson. He just passed away with COVID, and he is the founder of now what it's called the Peace Song Awards. And he provided me with such an opportunity with just the nomination. And when I won, the night that I found out that I won was my father's anniversary of his death. When you talk about combining the Phoenix and the ancestors and the rising up of the ashes, it was just meant to be.
Wow.
I could not believe it. And then they honored me at the ceremony the next year in April. And we had a lot of Cape Verdeans who came to that. We had Anika Barboza there. We had Vinnie Jumet there. We had Terry Cohen there. My family flew in. It was so remarkable. And it meant so much to me because of my parents, because of being Cape Verdean, because the fact that you can rise up from anything. And I wanted to show men and women across the globe that if you have a vision, and if you believe in yourself, and if you always love yourself first, then you can accomplish anything.
Exactly. And I see that with the love between you and actually yourself, but you also have a love with your husband that's able to get you motivated as a husband.
Yes.
Secondly, as a coach.
Yes, he's my coach.
Yeah. So, and then now he's got the other title, a manager. So you actually, that should get you motivated. I find that sometimes you like with me writing, things may stick in my head that may be surrounding me. or whatever I'm going through or reflecting on. And in your case, when you were songwriting, you were pouring out some emotions with the domestic violence, maybe. Um, and at least you have your husband there to say, "Hey, all right, that's good. We're gonna move forward. We're gonna
Yeah.
move on."
Yeah.
And so that was good for you, and I'm glad that he was around to do that.
Thank you.
Now winning the Grammys, um, where we went from cosmetics to music to life issues, so on and so forth. When we're talking about music, who wrote that story for you locally around this area? Who kind of wrote that story, put it in a newspaper, the radio? Has anyone done that? The only reason was because I'm going to recap that story. I'm going to kind of bring it out because it becomes an inspiration for somebody else. So, and even though it's back then, it needs to be brought up again so it can inspire our young artists that are here or there, wherever they may be worldwide. So I want to try to get that story back
Okay.
and highlight. So
Yeah, I'll send you the media that I've done. I'm incredibly grateful to all of the journalists, all of the radio promoters, our music publicist, Beth Hilton, who's my West Coast best friend, and my husband and my producers, Rod Castro, my first producer, my first engineer, Lester Mendoza. Lester was nominated for Album of the Year for Beyonce. He produced songs on Lemonade for her. And this is like our crew where we started. And we went to the Grammys together. And it was just so phenomenal to see the people that you started with have such success, who are humble, who are doing it. And Rod is unbelievable. My mother used to say that his guitar skills remind her of my dad. So I always felt comfortable. And then my producer of my song Addiction, which we got a Grammy contention for Song of the Year.
great news.
Yeah, great news. And Greg Buckwalton. So, we record on analog in his studio, and, he's exceptional. I've just been surrounded by really great people. Now that we're heading into my next project, which is my album Entering Taunton, which is dedicated to my late mother. We're figuring out what we want to do. I have a lot of ideas. We want it to be released in 2021, but who knows? What's interesting is that I wrote that album back in 2014. And when you write timeless music, or music that can stand the test of time, it doesn't matter when it comes out. And I think that you have to really recognize that as an artist. And I just want to say to you, Charlie, I've been around the best of the best, and you are part of that best of the best. Your talent is so immensely brilliant on every level. I read every word that you send to me. Even if I can't do it right away, I'll go back at night and I'll study it. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you using your gift and being in that space. It's truly an honor to be surrounded by talent like you.
Well, I appreciate that coming from you. It means a lot. I'm just trying to expand, and I'm not going to say I think it's there. I know it's there. I just don't know. I need some guidance. So guiding me would come from you, and Marvin, just to get me on the right track. And then once that happens, like you said, Phoenix Rising. I'm going to try to do the best I can, make people proud of me, and then we'll go from there. Because if I could sing like my dad, then I'd be all right. But I can't do that. So,
they were the greats.
He was just a good singer, and every time I hear anything from Motown, it definitely has me thinking about him. So,
Wow,
Um,
that's so special.
all right. Actually, I got a question for you.
What?
In your dad's beginning of his career, um, do you have those old posters, like the old event posters?
Yeah.
If you if you have a chance, I mean, you know the ones I'm talking about. Like they're there.
Yeah, I will ask my sister because and you know what, I'll ask my Uncle Gene because he's been sending me all these photos. But someone had, I think my dad was playing at like either the VFW or the Timberland Oaks in Taunton, and they had like a poster, you know,
Hmm.
Friday night, 8 p.m., $15 or whatever it is. And I have to see because I may have it in my photos. Whatever I have, I'll send it to you. But
Yeah,
I used to love those, man. Those were like so cool.
I try to. I'm trying to just even if it's just a picture to kind of display those on Facebook of the old Cape Verdean artists,
Yeah,
because growing up they were all over the place,
yes.
and they were so many, but that you can't find them anymore. And when you do find them, they're all, they might have been yellow and now they're not yellow. And they're it's half of a poster or something like that. So,
Yeah,
when you have an opportunity, just share that with me. So,
absolutely.
all
And
right.
you know what else I want to talk about? Um, I want to talk about last year because I wanted to, first of all, representing in being Cape Verdean, being 100% Cape Verdean means everything to me. We grew up with the culture and the whole routine, of course. But we created a collection last summer. It came out on our Cape Verdean Independence Day on July 5th. It's called the
Mhm.
Ancestral Collection. I have it on today on my eyes and underneath
Yep.
my shadow and the fortune highlighter, um, which is right here. And I want to read something to you that we send when you purchase this collection. This is what it looks like. We combined both flags,
Nice.
and it says, this is what I wrote. On the Cape Verdean flag, the color of red represents the road toward reconstruction and effort. When creating this collection, we were inspired by our ancestors and our revolutionary Amilcar Cabral, who led a nation toward freedom through his invaluable contributions to our nation. We are a resilient people, and as we continue to move forward, we will always honor our ancestors, the fortune, the fierce, the force, and the find. Viva Cap Verde Doubledown Cosmetics. So I
Love it.
to
I
share that.
love it. That's very nice.
Thank you.
We definitely have to share that. I definitely, I'm going to be all over your website. I already have, but, you
Thank
know,
you. We're updating it. We're in a constant state of learning. And in 2020, due to the social unrest in this country in 2020, we had a lot of retailers and beauty brands that do not represent us Black people. And there was such a diversion within the beauty space alone. And some of these retailers and brands started to create these programs to really elevate Black brands. Marvin and I were very fortunate that we were in a program called Tower 28. Tower 28 is also a clean brand, but the founder of that brand felt as though she wanted to bring Black brands to the forefront. So 300 brands applied, 10 brands made it. We were one of the 10 brands, and we were the only
awesome.
brand.
Very nice.
Within that, we got into that, and then we got into the Credo for Change program, which Credo is the clean beauty retailer, like Sephora, but it's just clean beauty. And so this past year, we were featured in A Dream Come True for us in Essence magazine. We were in Who, What, Where, which is the epitome of a fashion publication. The editor in chief took a picture with our lip balm in the punk, and posted it. And we were in Apple News, we were in Birdie, we just made Yahoo News, and so we're so thankful for all of the press and the up-leveling of people wanting to showcase our brand as a husband and wife team, as a wellness coach for my husband, as a domestic violence survivor. We're a very small brand, but we're making big moves. That's what we say.
Yeah, it's actually it's I like I like that because I'm always trying to get an inspiration from something that I'm involved with, and I clearly think that our friendship um has got me involved where I have to promote things that you're doing. So we're gonna continue to move forward. You're gonna rise even higher than a phoenix. So you continue to do what you're doing.
Thank you.
And we'll go from there. We got about 40 minutes we've been on the air, and that's good. I definitely I'm just gonna put a little plug there for myself. Just the Really Charlie
Yes.
podcast. I'm brought to you by StreamYard, Spotify, Anchor, and Facebook. It's every Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. What I also will throughout the week, like we're doing today, is grab someone and make them the host. So the Really Charlie podcast could be more than once a week. You never let those stories lie. There's always a good story. This is a great story. And now it's going to be out there. It'll be out there on my pages. It'll be out there on YouTube. So, which this is what I'm trying to do, and there may be something that you see or that you come across, a person, a place, anything. Please tell me, let me know, Charlie, I talked to so and so, maybe this might be another show, another podcast for you. We're just trying to get this person out there, regardless of what it is. It's why we say Really Charlie, and it doesn't, it's not about me. It's about that particular person. It's about you today. It's about your company, your base, your story, your husband. It's about you guys. So we got you on here to kind of tell your story. And that's what I'm trying to do. So if you see another story or hear another story, let me know. We're in contact throughout, the month, the week, and May, even if it's just saying hi or giving a like on Facebook. So, you reach out to me if you see something or hear something.
Oh, I absolutely will. I mean, Marvin and I were all about community and, just being, thank you for doing what you're doing and having folks like us on, because
Thank you. You're welcome.
We appreciate it. My husband is a force in this community, and he's so easy to love.
You got that right.
Oh my gosh, we're making our 10-year anniversary is next week.
Awesome.
We're
very nice.
Excited. He's my very best friend. The other night, because we're in a state of creation and we have things coming out this year. And the other night he just turned to me, and it meant so much. He said, "Honey, I'm so proud of you, and you're my very best friend." And it meant everything. And my husband, will tell you, he's the same in public as he is in private. He's the kindest man I've ever known. My mother adored him. And before she died, the words that she said about him were so special. I'm so close to his mother, my mom, and we're all family. And we call him Honorary Cape Verdean by association. I need to get a shirt made for him.
Yeah. he's definitely he's first round draft pick.
Totally.
No trade clause with him. You keep him on that bench.
Yes.
And well, my friend,
Thank
I'm
you.
actually, we're gonna in closing. Is there anything you want to say? We can definitely do that. I will continue to add, um, you know, your products to my podcast, my podcast group. Just to put it out there. Um, the websites, so on and so forth, even the stories.
Thank you.
So you keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And just to let everybody know, my husband and I have, our nonprofit From Here to There, la.org, and we're doing a clothing drive. My husband is partnering with a local school. So if you're in Los Angeles and you have clothes and blankets, we're happy to pick them up. It's going to be going on until January 30th, and you can contact my husband or myself. We want to get our folks on the street nice and warm this winter because with COVID, there's no place for them to go. They can't go inside banks anymore. They can't go inside establishments. And it's very cold here in Los Angeles. So I do want to mention that as well.
Yeah, you might want to meet up with Dwayne The Rock Ramus. He's from New Bedford and he's out there in LA.
Yeah, he goes to a lot of functions.
Yeah, and his motivation, your motivation, you guys definitely should reach out to each other and build that another part of your network. So, well, my friend, I'm fortunate to have you.
Thank you. Fortunate to have you, Charlie. I love you. You're my brother through and through and through.
Yes.
Oh, here's my husband.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, wanted to catch up.
That's it.
You're
Well,
a first round draft pick, honey.
that's right. We got you on video, man, and we got this on video, so you can catch up later.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yep. Marvin, you keep on doing what you're doing. Look at this. He says, "Love you, wifey."
Oh, I love you too, sweetheart, so much.
Good job. So what we're gonna stay in contact.
Yes.
Send me some newsworthy stuff so I can put it on this podcast.
I will. I'll send you all the links and everything, pictures, everything I have.
And I'm gonna get ready to be a student so you can teach me some of that songwriting and
get ready because you and I are about to do some big things in September, and I'll share with you offline.
Okay. And we definitely I got to talk to Marvin about coaching me up also. So I'll be doing that with him. So
yeah, great health, great. We gotta get our communities healthy.
Yes. So all right. You have a good night. God bless.
Love you, brother.
Right. See you later. Love you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Great guest, great company, great inspiration for me, you, and everybody else out there. You listen to her story, you listen to their story, and they were in a place where some of you may be in. You may be in that place. You may be in that spot. You may want to get motivated to excel, to be in a position like they are right now, helping people from coast to coast, actually. So they're doing the right thing. And we're going to continue to share that Marvin and Kristen story over and over again on my podcast, just because I know you all are out there and need some inspiration. And they are definitely the two that will do it for you. So, as I always say on every podcast, is mask those beautiful faces. Use hand sanitizer on your hands. Wash your hands. Stay safe for yourself and others around you. This COVID is still around and it's still going strong. People are dying every single day at high numbers. One is too many. Hundreds are too many. And thousands are scary. It's a tragedy. So continue to be safe. Love you guys. Continue to watch me. This Sunday, actually, we're not going to have a show on Saturday unless something comes up. But this Sunday, we will be airing Finger Fire, Joe Finger and Calvin Peanut. It's a group down in Florida, musical group, kind of jazzy, really, really good. Calvin's my cousin, and he's a good singer. But we'll talk about that on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So tune in for that. Once again, thank you to the Speller family. Thank you to the listeners and viewers for today. I really, really appreciate the support. Take care.